Hey everyone, it's great to see you again. I want to share something with you. It's a little bit of a peek into my life. There's a particular struggle, and it's not really unique to me. I've seen others have this struggle too, and honestly, it's kind of comical to watch myself as this struggle kind of progressed the older I got, and now I'm seeing it with my kids. It happens around our television, because the struggle is over who gets to have the control. You probably have one of these. Actually, you probably have many of these lying around your home. You probably have remotes that you don't even know what they go to anymore. You just kind of point. If it doesn't work, you pick up the next one, you try again. A remote control. Now, normally when I'm watching TV, if I'm in this lazy boy and I just have the remote sitting here, I might not even touch it the entire time I'm watching a football game or a TV show or something on the news or streaming a movie. But it's just knowing that it's right there, that whenever I want to, I can pick this up and change over from live TV to streaming my favorite movie. Or I can change the volume, I can change the channel, I can turn it off. I can mute it if I really don't want to hear that commercial one more time. It gives me a sense of control, a remote control. What is it that you find yourself wanting to control? Do you try to control other people? Do you try to control your schedule? Do you try to make things predictable? And so like control interaction or whatever it might be. A couple months ago, I think most of us felt like our sense of control was gone. I mean, we were no longer able to go about life the way we used to do it. I know when I found out a majority of my children's education through the rest of the school year was going to happen in our home, I didn't feel a sense of control, not even remotely. I want to share a story with you about someone else who had to figure out what it was to handle control. King Hezekiah from the Hebrew Old Testament. King Hezekiah was a good king who was a king several hundred years before Jesus was born. He was the king of Judah. In one particular instance, an enemy empire, the Assyrian Empire, had consumed the nations around him, and they were banging on his front door saying, "Would you just surrender and give up? We're way too big, way too bad, way too strong for you." Now, Hezekiah could have leaned on his own abilities, leaned on his own wisdom, maybe even leaned on his own sense of control. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to get my way. But that's not what Hezekiah does. In Isaiah chapter 37, we find out what Hezekiah's reaction is and his response to the enemy that's pounding on his front door. He goes to God's spokesman, God's prophet, Isaiah, and says, here's the situation. Isaiah gives him a message back and says, you know what you need to do. I want to read for you one verse. This is from Isaiah 37, verse 14. Hezekiah received the letter from the hand of the messengers and read it. And Hezekiah went up to the house of the Lord and spread it before the Lord. So Hezekiah takes the message. This was a message from the enemy, threatening Hezekiah's sense of control, threatening his life, basically. And instead of trying to control the situation, he took it and he laid it before God. He spread it before the Lord. I love that imagery. Basically, what Hezekiah did is he took the remote, chucked it out the window, and took the issue and said, God, you see what's going on, and I put this before you. I submit to what you will do and your control. Now that word submit is a buzzword. It's a hot word in our culture today. Nobody wants to submit because when you submit, it's like you're letting go of your sense of authority and power and control and influence. But maybe that's a misunderstanding of what Hezekiah is up to. What Hezekiah does is he takes his concern and places it underneath the power and authority and the will of God. The one that Jesus says we can call Father. The same Father who knows our needs before we even verbalize them, who knows our wants and the desires of our heart. Hezekiah demonstrates what it means to release control. Today is May 5th. It's Cinco de Mayo. So as you're enjoying your Taco Tuesday, here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about one area that you grab for control. Where do you try to grab for control and make life work the way you want it to? And then I want you to share that with someone. So if you're celebrating Cinco de Mayo with a bunch of tacos tonight, you can celebrate with your family, friends, say, hey, here's an area where I know I try to control life. If you have more to the story where God showed up when you placed that request before Him, great. There's no harm either in just saying, hey, this is where God's kind of messing with me and where I'm struggling right now. But I'm going to learn to try to adopt the posture of Hezekiah and just spread my concerns before His throne. He's gracious and He's merciful to give you the help and the grace you need because He's the one in control. We'll see you next time.